Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. It's funny, Gene mentioned uh, just the different energy level that I have in the various times of day. What I've been doing, what I did last time on Tuesday, was that I had three different sessions. So I had one in the morning, like now, this time. I had one in the afternoon, and then I had one in the evening, and I can see how different they are. I took videos of each one of those. I haven't looked at them yet, but I'm kind of curious to look as to how that differs, and not only my teaching style, but just what it says about me throughout the day. And I think that's an interesting self exploration. And it's something that you can explore too. Like, how am I? I am different moment to moment. Every single moment, whether it's morning, whether it's evening, these breaths that I'm taking, this food that I'm eating, these activities that I'm doing, this way I'm engaging my mind, all changes the me that's here right now. And it's just a fun experiment to take a look. I'll just grab him. Here he is. Here's the real reason why you're here, is to see my blue-eyed feline. Named after Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes. Yeah, well, this is funny. Valentina says it's thanks, Gene, for the donation. Today's topic is trusting the process of change. We've finished a long series about change. We spent about 2 months talking about making changes that are helpful for us, and adding helpful habits to our lives, and also subtracting unhelpful habits from our lives, and what that is like. And trust is a very important attitude when it comes to change, because, trust pairs pretty naturally with patience as well, is that change doesn't happen overnight, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you that. Change doesn't happen overnight here. And staying awake for a second live stream, though off my sleep schedule, not the night, yeah. That's it. I guess that's the nice thing about me doing these, just to diverge for a second, is that we can do these events at another. You don't have to be here at this exact time when I've got these extra sessions. I've got some extra sessions in coming up next week, or next week on Tuesday, my Tuesday as well, which could be Monday evening or perhaps even Tuesday morning for you. So today's topic is trusting the process of change. Change doesn't happen overnight. Change takes time. And the issue is that a lot of times we don't see the change happening. And that can be very frustrating. And so this is really where trust comes in, is that trust is knowing that the effort that we're making is not being thrown away, that the effort that we're making is making a difference, even if we're not immediately seeing it. And, this is one of the things, especially about the meditation practice. I think I use yoga as a physical example. I've been doing yoga since 2018, or regularly since 2018. So I've got about 8 years of yoga under my belt, and it's still extremely slow, the process of being able to do new postures and things like that. And by the way, that immediately brings non-striving into my mind, right? Seeing that, that desire to getting somewhere, or wishing that the results happen. isn't necessarily helpful, and a lot of times isn't helpful. And so the yoga practice it just feels like it takes ages for anything to happen. And my experience with the meditation practice is that it's even longer. So even if you're meditating every single day, the changes that you're going to see in yourself are something that really take a lot of time and take a lot of dedication to the practice for you to be able to start seeing. And this is really where trust comes in, and noticing doubt. And I think that's another thing that's important to name, is that there are times that, I think of meditation retreats it's like day 2 of a silent meditation retreat, and I'm like my typical my typical self-talk on day 2 or day 3 is like, what the heck am I doing here? Like this is like what I'm hoping to happen isn't happening. Like, why is it not happening? Why am I? Like, this is a waste of time. I want to quit. I want to give up. I want to get out of here, right? And this is where noticing doubt and remembering the trust I have in myself and in the process, and that something is going to happen. I am here for a reason. I have seen results in the past. I'd say my very first meditation retreat. I guess that's the other cool, interesting thing about meditation, is that I'd say early on in my practice, because, maybe just like yoga, as I started the practice, in the beginning, I could see my flexibility increase significantly, quickly, right? So it's like right at the beginning, those first 2 months of doing something, I see the big differences. And so same with meditation. In those first 2 months after the first meditation retreat, I could see the big differences and those big leaps, and that was really encouraging. And so that kind of helped me when doubt would come up, to trust in the process and to go, hey, there's a reason that I'm doing this. I've seen the results in the past. And I know that for me to continue, that's it. We could talk about, again, I'm going to use the analogy of flexibility. If I don't keep doing some kind of form of stretching, I'm going to lose the flexibility that I have in my physical body. If I don't keep coming back to my cushion in sitting every day, I'm going to lose the flexibility in my mind that I've been working on so much. So it's that old evidence that something has worked that can help to give us the confidence that what we're doing is working. So as we talk about trust, this is a good time for me to post my course here, the 9 Attitudes of Mindfulness. So this is, Frank's being naughty. Frank, okay, go back to the sofa, please. The 9 Attitudes of Mindfulness include trust. And the other thing is, not only do they include trust, but they include patience. They include all of these other attitudes that are related. And that's one thing that you'll notice as you go through the course, that these attitudes are not independent of one another. So as trust shows up, you'll see that trust pairs beautifully with patience. You can't be patient without trust, without trusting that things are going well, right? If you don't have that trust in yourself and in the process, it's going to be very hard to keep going if doubt keeps coming up. Trust pairs with non-striving. When we trust, we stop forcing the results. So instead of forcing things to happen in a particular way, in a particular time frame, we can trust that the effort we're putting forth right now is the right amount of effort. And by the way, there is a right amount of effort. It is possible to have too much effort, believe it or not. And I know that, that may be hard to understand in today's society. Our culture really treasures and celebrates control and speed and certainty, but we can trust that inner growth is something that unfolds quietly and sometimes without any evidence immediately. Trust asks us to stay present without demanding proof that it's working. Trust pairs with letting go, just like Jean said in the chat. Because we can't release control until we trust that the next trapeze bar is coming, right? I mean, this is it. That's one of my favorite pieces is the parable of the trapeze. That's a great idea for a new recording as well, is to do the parable of the trapeze. Is that as I'm swinging along merrily on my trapeze bars of life, I loved hanging on to this one. And when it's time for me to reach out and to let go of this trapeze bar, and I hurtle through the void of the unknown, it's trust that lets me know that next trapeze bar is going to be there. So trust, Anna says, trust versus clinging, clutching, and controlling. Thanks so much. So that is it. And I mean, that is the process. That's how it works. So let's go through some practical examples here. And I guess before we do, there's one other thing that I thought was a great one, and I'm sorry if I hope you can relate to this yoga analogy. It's just because it lands home for me. I mean, let me know if this resonates with you, and if it doesn't, I'll stop using yoga analogies. But another piece is that the process tends to work like breathing, right? It's not a straight line. And I think that can be an easy thing to shake our trust, is that when we're going on a straight line and we're expecting the results to happen in a particular way, and that we're moving this way, and any movement this way crushes our trust and makes us feel doubt. And so I'd just like to invite the image of breathing, right? Breathing in and breathing out. One step forward, half a step back. And then, the yoga analogy is that as I'm in this twist, right? As I'm twisting my body, I'm like, man, I'm so stiff. I can't get to this next spot, And so what I need to do is breathe in, lift up, and then breathe out. Go deeper into the pose. And so that's something that I think is really surprising about the yoga practice, is noticing that actually there's more space here than I expected there would be. And that, in fact, with a few breaths, I can make a little bit more progress, more than I was expecting. Gosh, Frank is he wants attention. I'm afraid he's gonna make too much noise and distract during the meditation. Just some practical examples. Procrastination's the example we've been using a lot. In procrastination, know that small steps matter. You don't need to finish everything today. Trust that even a short, distracted sit is helping, right? I think that's an important one too. As we sit in meditation practice, short, distracted sits are making a difference. You don't have to be calm. You don't have to have a clear mind. You don't have to have everything. You don't have to push all of your thoughts away. I think that's something that is the myth that everyone believes about meditation, is that if I don't have a clear mind, if I'm not super concentrated, I'm doing it wrong. Trust in the process. Trust that tons of distraction is part of it. In relationships, trust that honest pauses and listening create more understanding than fixing. And, at last, but certainly not least, trust self-care. Trust your body. Trust signals that your body is giving you. You are different moment to moment. You are not at your best when you aren't taking care of yourself. And your chance of causing harm to yourself and others increases so much when you're not taking care of yourself. So listen to those signs. Rest when you need to rest. Eat when you need to eat. Look at your body's signals as flag posts, as indicators of what you need to do, not as obstacles. Let's go ahead and get into our practice today. And I guess I just want to take a moment to say, I didn't see Anna's comment here. Take the judgments off the pose too. Thanks, Anna, for sharing that. That's exactly. So this is, how non-judging fits in with this as well. So it's like that constant desire to say, how am I doing? Am I doing good? Am I doing bad? How's it going right now? Is it great? Does it stink? Do I need to work harder? So just seeing judgment as it shows up too. In the course, in my 9 Attitudes course, there's a meditation around trust. So just like each of the 9 Attitudes, there is a dedicated meditation for each one of them that's there. So get comfortable. Find a posture that is going to be supportive of you today, one that combines relaxation with alertness. And so checking in today with yourself. Who is it that's showing up here right now? What version of me is here? And so looking at this partnership between acceptance and trust, the version of me that's here right now is the version of me that's here. There's no need to be different from how you are right now. So letting go of any desire to be your ideal self in this moment. Letting go of any idea that you need to be in a particular mind state to be able to meditate. And also trusting that this version of you is the version of you that needs to be here right now. This is the version of you that is worthy of love and care. And so as we do this practice, recognize that this is an avenue for profound healing and understanding of yourself. And you don't have to take my word for it. There's plenty of evidence out there. So, who is it that's here today? And so, tuning into your senses. Your senses are monitoring what's happening right now, and there's no better way to anchor into the present moment than to observe what's going on in the five senses. Can you feel gravity pulling down? Can you tune in to the sense of touch to notice the thing that is pushing back? So gravity pulls downwards. Our chair, our cushion, our floor pushes back. And as it pushes back, it creates a sensation of pressure. So tuning into the sense of touch, and just like to invite you to see if you can notice the nuances of the feeling of pressure on the thing that you're sitting on today. Notice the sensation in the buttocks. Turn your attention to the right buttock. Can you feel where the chair or cushion or whatever it is starts touching? Where the pressure is the greatest? Maybe tune into that. Where is the pressure greatest on the right buttock? Is there like a point? Is there a small region? Can you feel the pressure changing and subsiding as you move away from that point, as you draw your attention away? So feeling the remainder of the right buttock. And then at some point, your right buttock is no longer contacted by the chair. Maybe that's merging into the point where your right buttock is becoming your right thigh, or upwards to the point where the right buttock is becoming the lower back. So can you curiously, maybe this is the very first time that you examined your right buttock so closely. And if it's not, can you bring a beginner's mind? So this is practice, turning up the awareness dial. And so now let's shift our attention to the left buttock. And you will notice that even if you're sitting at what feels like perfectly even, that the sensations in the left buttock and the right buttock are not identical. That there is some difference, and you probably don't notice that day to day when you're sitting on things. So see if you can notice the area that's being contacted, where exactly the pressure is. Where do you feel the maximum pressure? And then feeling that pressure tapering off as we explore. Notice the sense of touch, this physical sensation, this information that our body is feeding us and giving to our mind. And on your next exhale, just letting go of attention at the buttocks and drawing attention to the abdomen. Noticing that although the rest of my body may be still, my abdomen is not. With each breath, my abdomen is changing shape. And so maybe it's hard for you to notice that. You can always place one hand on your belly. In fact, if you like, you can place your left hand on your belly, your right hand across your chest. This kind of small self-embrace can be comforting as well. And so you can use this to monitor the feeling of breathing. Expanding on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. Expansion, followed by contraction, followed by expansion, followed by contraction. And just noticing that you don't have to do anything. That your body, in its own wisdom, knows how to breathe. And you can trust in that wisdom. You don't have to get involved. And if you do want to get involved, noticing those feelings, those thoughts, I'm not breathing long enough. I need to extend my breath. I need to breathe deeper. Whatever it is that's showing up, noticing those thoughts, and as best as you can, letting them go. Just trusting your own body that it knows exactly how to breathe, how long the breath needs to be, how deep the breath needs to be. Just let the body do it, and you're just along for the ride. You're watching, observing. And from time to time, even though our intention may stay clear and solid to keep the attention on the breath, despite that, our minds may still wander away. And so just like trusting the process of the breath, trusting that the mind's activity is coming out of something, that it's going somewhere. There's a reason that you're getting distracted. Could be that something that happened earlier today has really been triggering for you. Could be something that is coming up later is causing anxiety. It could be none of these. It could be something silly that's distracting you. It doesn't matter what it is, just knowing that your mind has a way that it works in its own. And you don't need to force it or fix it or change it. When you notice that the mind has wandered, as best you can, letting go of the thought, coming back to observing the breath. And trusting that this process of returning to the breath over and over again is training your attention, is going to make you stronger in many different aspects of your life. So now we have about 3 minutes remaining. I'm going to just be silent for those 3 minutes and let you, as best you can, focus on the feeling of breathing. And so maybe offering yourself a little gratitude for having made it through today's practice, trusting that this practice is changing you each time you do it. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay. Thank you for joining me today in this period of mindfulness practice. How to go? Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Jean. What did you notice as you did this practice? And any questions or comments about trust or any of the 9 attitudes? Just going to post my follow card here. So if you don't follow me on Insight Timer, I would encourage you to do that. That is certainly helpful for me. Likewise, if you're a Plus member, I'll just pop up my 9 Attitudes course one more time. Check out my course. It is something I spent months putting together, getting it just right, and something I'm quite proud to have up on Insight Timer. So those are the two big ways to help. Donating, of course, is helpful as well. So if you found today's session helpful and you want to donate, that's an excellent avenue as well. So what happened? What happened today as you did your mindfulness practice? Thanks, Jean, for your endorsement. I found my mind going to the future and going to what I need to do later today. And see, there's the scratching at the door again. What is going on with Frank today? He's really disrupted my morning practice. I mean, that's another thing my mind went to on the meditation, is just thinking like, oh wow, I didn't do as nice of live event as I wanted to do today because I was so distracted by my feline friend. So where was your mind today? And so just, trusting in the process, being patient, knowing that you are changing moment by moment, and bringing awareness to the moment. I mean, what's the point of awareness? I mean, that I think this is a great thing to bring up as we close, is that awareness and cultivating awareness gives a little bit more space before we react to difficult situations. So between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So the more, I'll personalize it, the more I meditate, the bigger I see that space between stimulus and response. And I get a moment, after my kids do something for the 1,000th time that I've said don't do that, and I feel the frustration, I feel the physical symptoms of frustration and anger, can I notice those as an aha moment? Wait a minute, I might say something that isn't helpful to the situation right now. Can I be mindful in this moment and say something that is beneficial, that's going to potentially change this behavior? Or maybe it's me that needs to change. Is there some reason? Why is this small thing that's happened 1,000 times bothering me so much? Gives just that moment to reflect before we speak. Jean says, my mind wandered to something I saw on the health section of the news about mind wandering in ADHD people and how the mind wandering, helps them with creativity. Thanks, Jean, for sharing. Cece says you may feel stressed and judging. And so this is a great message from Cece to remind me that things are seen in that my perspective and your perspective are not the same. Thanks, Cece, for sharing that and bringing that up. If I can figure out how to share the piece, thanks, Jean. I'd love to see it. Anna says, trust, acceptance, and patience. That will be my focus. Thanks, Anna. And I do hope you'll check the course out. I think the course is a great way to see all of the 9 attitudes, to see how they all work together, and to have some impact on how your meditation goes, and not just in the meditation space, but also how you can start to bring those 9 attitudes into daily life. Thanks everybody for being here. Let's close our practice with. Let me say before I go, it's school holidays next week, so we're just going across the border to Malaysia with the kids. So we'll spend some time in Malaysia, but that means that I won't be on my regular live events next week, but I will be back the following Tuesday. So what's the date there? You can see it on my profile, certainly. So follow me, please. The 28th. So I'll be back on the 28th to do 3 more lessons throughout the day on the 28th. So you can check those out. And then after that, then I'm heading to my annual personal silent retreat. So then I'll be back in November after that. Thank you, Cece. Thanks, Jean. Let us close practice the way we do with attitude number 9, generosity to myself and to everybody else. So this practice, this cultivation of self that we're doing, doesn't just affect us. It affects everybody else. And bringing intention to treating others well and hoping others can feel happy and peaceful and safe and protected and whole and complete, all of this is helpful to our own practice. So we are new people right now in this moment. Thanks, Chris. So follow along with me if you like. Repeat after me. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all of humanity, may we all live together in harmony. May we all be happy. May we all be peaceful. Thanks again, everybody. I'll be back in, 9 hours? Yeah, 9 hours from now. And I'll see you then. If you're around, I'll be kind of repeating this lesson, then I'll be back again. And 14 hours. So 9 hours and 14 hours, I'll be back doing live events again. So do take care. See you soon. Have a lovely day or evening. Be well. Bye-bye.